For the first time in more than 25 years, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu pledged to establish a new settlement in Samaria, also known as the West Bank. Netanyahu's announcement came shortly after Israeli police began dismantling what was called an illegal outpost. In the meantime, Israel is expecting a different attitude in the White House towards settlements under President Donald Trump. Here's CBN Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl with the story from Amona.
Israelis living in biblical Judea and Samaria are hoping scenes like these won't be repeated now that President Trump is in office.
Netanyahu now, in this time, this moment after Amona and after Ofra tomorrow, need to say to Trump and to all the world that we will be here forever and we will build here and bring more Jewish for Judah and Samaria, because this is our land, our historical, our Bible start from here.
This is Amona. Much of the world would call it an illegal outpost, but to the 42 families that live here, it's home. About 3,000 security forces and police have come to remove them from this hilltop home.
These people's lives are going to be changed forever. Their children will be traumatized. I saw them taking out the little kids this morning.
I'm a child in Israel. I also want a home. And if there's a court case against me, I also need a home in the land of Israel.
The evacuation ended with violent clashes at the synagogue between some of those who came to protest the raising of the settlement and police. Hundreds of other Israelis from near and far came to stand peacefully in solidarity with those losing their homes.
I love this country, I love this state, I love Israel, I do all what I can do to my people. And in this moment I just come here to be with my brother.
Like my hand, it hurts me so much to see all the soldiers here hitting the other hand. It's like one hand hitting the other, like cancer. I'm here actually to connect, to identify, to connect with my people, with the pain of my people, to be at this time crucial to the people of Israel and to express solidarity, the desire to settle the land, to build it.
This is the way of Abraham, of Yitzchak, of Yaakov. This is the place, not Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv it's true, but this is the place. All the story of the Bible is here.
Israel's High Court ordered the destruction of the 20-year-old hilltop community after it ruled in favor of a Palestinian claim that it was built on private land. The international community considers all Jewish communities in Judea and Samaria, also known as the West Bank, to be illegal, but almost all of the 430,000 Israelis who live there live in communities built on Israeli state land and not private Palestinian property.
In the Six-Day War, after 1967, we returned here, and together with all the governments, the Likud and also the Labour Party, we established settlements. We returned home. This is terrible that we're dismantling settlements in the land of Israel.
Others said removing the Israelis won't bring peace.
And the reason it's so tragic is that this hill is going to stay barren. No good will come out of it. This will not promote peace in any way.
It's the first time in more than 10 years that Israel has evacuated Israelis from disputed land. In the summer of 2005, Israel uprooted more than 9,000 Israelis from 21 communities in the Gaza Strip and 4 in the northern West Bank in what became known as the disengagement. Now, with Trump in the White House, many Israelis are hoping the evacuation at Amona will be the last.
Julie, you were up there in Amona. Tell us some of your impressions. It seemed like a very chaotic scene.
Yeah, it was. In the beginning, it was quite orderly, but it was very sad. You know, the Israeli police, the police spokesman kept saying again and again, we're only doing this because there's a court order. So the police weren't happy about doing it, about having to take their fellow Israelis off of the hill. The people weren't happy about having to be taken off. And like I said, in the beginning, it was very orderly. Some of the more violent scenes came later on.
Yeah, you could see from many of the people in that story, they were quite upset. Give us some history and some context, because this can be a complicated issue, and sometimes people see some video and they just don't know what's going on. So what's some of the background to Amona?
Well, as we said in the story, Amona has been there for around 20 years. There was another evacuation of Amona about 11 years ago. Some of the houses were destroyed, and many of these people have lived there nearly 20 years. Suddenly, at some point along the way, a Palestinian, some people say he was put up to it by Israeli left-wingers, went to the Supreme Court and said, this is my land, this is private land. Most of the land that settlements are built on belonged to the Kingdom of Jordan, and when Israel took over in the 1967 war, that became state land. So that actually it doesn't belong to private Palestinians. But now a private Palestinian said, this is my land, and the Supreme Court said, well, okay, we'll believe you. Apparently they had some deeds or some documents, though others say it wasn't really proven. Yeah, it's a little bit murky.
A little bit complicated. Now, the White House made a statement about not only what Amona, they didn't talk about that, but they did talk about what Benjamin Netanyahu did. He announced for the first time in more than 25 years a new settlement. And this is part of their statement. It says, while we don't believe the existence of settlements is an impediment to peace, something the Obama administration would probably never say, but they said the construction of new settlements or the expansion of existing settlements beyond their current borders may not be helpful in achieving the goal of peace between Israelis and Palestinians. How do you interpret that statement by the White House?
Well, I think they're being very, very cautious. I don't think they want to jump quite on the bandwagon. They said further on in that statement that they haven't really established a policy regarding the settlements yet. We know that the coming ambassador to Israel, David Friedman, has been a big supporter of settlements. He's contributed finances. Even President Trump has contributed at some point in honor of David Friedman money towards some of the settlements. So it seems like they're treading lightly at this point, trying not to make any more enemies, but also he said he would discuss it more with Netanyahu when he comes in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that'll be February 15th, I guess, when they'll be meeting. And well, thank you, Julie, for your expertise and understanding about this. And this is one issue that we're going to continue to be reporting on and seeing in the years to come.